Hello, my fellow speakers. This is Brian, the speaker for the dead, coming to you once again from the road in my truck and on my way home. And I'll be home later this afternoon, but I wanted to make a quick video because I've been having more thoughts, you know, when I'm trapped by myself, alone, and thought, hey, I need to share these with other people because, I mean, they're not weird or anything. Anyway, so the thing I've been thinking about for the last couple of days is prequels, sequels, and remakes. Oh my. So on today's exciting episode, that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. And the reason I've kind of had this on my mind is obviously, if you've seen my last few videos, the sequel trilogy for Star Wars is coming out. In December, the trailers have been dropping, people have been talking about them, people are excited, people aren't excited, people are mad, people are happy, they're all over the place. And it just got me thinking, when did all of this start? When did this prequels and sequels and everything really get going? So I did some research and I went back and I said, hey, Mr. Google, tell me a story. And he said, no. Read it for yourself, douchebag. Anyway. So I went and looked. And from what I could find and gather, and I'm sure that there's probably more than just this, but this prequel thing started clear back as early as the 1900s, 1910, 1919, 1930 was when prequels really started to become, well, were first kind of seen. They weren't normal, they weren't big, it wasn't a commonplace thing, but then films weren't nearly as prevalent as they are today. So I kept thinking, when did I remember this starting? Well, when I first noticed that the prequels thing had become big was when George Lucas, and he's the one I blame for this, started making his prequels with Star Wars prequels. Now, George started out by by changing the original movies with his special editions. Now, some of the changes he made were good. They were fine. It helped a little bit better science, or a little bit better special effects shots and stuff like that. And it was all right. It looked okay. Some of it, not so much. Like the stuff on Tatooine was obnoxious to me. And all of a sudden they had animals walking in front of the frame, so it was like blocking stuff, and Jawas falling off the top of animals because a speeder biker almost runs it. I recently watched Star Wars again, the special edition versions. And that's what I kept sitting there thinking, why did he do this? This is unnecessary. He didn't need to do this. It didn't add anything, didn't make it that much better. And worse, it started to look dated already. More so than the stuff he did in 1970 or 1977-ish. Because they used early CGI and stuff like that. It hasn't held up as well as the old original practical effects. So that's kind of sad that he almost kind of ruined his own thing and then doubled down on it with the prequels. Now, to be fair, the prequels have their moments. Like when they end. No, just kidding. But Phantom Menace, I don't like that. I hate the Gungans. I hate Jar Jar Binks. Darth Maul was cool. That was pretty much it. The little kid did a good job, as little kid actors go. I feel bad for what happened to that kid after that movie came out. Because apparently it really kind of messed him up. People were mean to him and treated him badly, and that wasn't right, and that should not have happened. We have to remember the biggest tragedy of all happened in that film. George Lucas gave us midichlorians.
No! No!
George! What? So you took the coolest thing in the world, in the universe, the Force, this omnipresent, unifying power that surrounds and binds all living things together, and the Jedi can use this power and you can lift things, just cool stuff. And made it about little teeny aliens living in our cells that talk to us about the Force. What? Why would you? Oh, I remember watching that movie, and when I just sat there with my mouth hanging open, going, literally, I think literally, what? What just happened? The coolest thing in the world just got explained away by bacteria. I mean, that's basically what it sounded like. Just so it's not as spiritually powerful. It's just this stupid little bacteria talking to us. But I just decided in my own head, I'm not listening to any more of that midichlorian crap. It's like, George, you're a genius in a lot of ways, but you're not ruining this for me. It's like, and I just deleted that out of the file. I'm like, I have no idea what you people are talking about. Midichlor who? I don't. And I just went on like that didn't even exist. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not interested, and I'm not going to listen to that nonsense about the midichlorians. As far as I'm concerned, Obi-Wan's definition and explanation of the Force is the only one there is. Qui-Gon Jinn can bite me. I actually like Qui-Gon Jinn's character, but he's the one that explained that tragic schmuckery. So I mean, the stuff on Tatooine was obnoxious and irritating and boring, and the stuff on Coruscant was okay, but like, just all around not a good movie. Then you get the Clone Wars, which had a terrible name. I'd have never called it that, or not the Clone Wars, but Attack of the Clones, which made it sound like something completely different was going to happen than what did. Which the end of that one is pretty good. I didn't mind that. I couldn't stand the awful love story. It is the worst love story possibly ever written. I mean, it's got to be up there. I don't know how many others that are that bad, but that one, I mean, it's up at the top. You got Anakin, who acts like a creepy stalker the whole movie. Padme, I love you since I was a little boy. I thought about you every day, especially in the shower. Ah! What? Ew! Oh, I don't like sand. Sand is so coarse. It gets everywhere. And it's gritty. Not soft. Like you, Padme. Yuck! If those are the lines George used on his wife, I don't know how he ever got married. let alone had kids. I mean, it was like watching Padme. I mean, they write Padme. It's so cute. I love him. He's just so sweet and creepy. Ow! That's what she should have said. Not, I love you, Anakin. I've been dying a little bit every day since you came into my life. You know what's funny is that she actually sells that. That she's a pretty good actress. I like her as an actress, and I just lost her name. You know what I'm talking about. The one who played Princess Padme. I mean, she actually did a better job selling that horrible those horrible lines than he did. I mean, I blame George because he wrote it, but I mean, poor Hayden Christensen could not deliver those lines without sounding like Pat from Saturday Night Live. If you don't know who Pat is, go look it up. See, you'll get the joke that I'm trying to. Now I'm about to explain the joke. It's not going to be funny. But anyway, Pat was androgynous, couldn't figure out whether she was male or female character on Saturday. It was so funny. He said, hi Steve, how are you today? That was Anakin. That was Anakin Skywalker. Nobody's going to fall for that. It was like watching the most socially awkward nerd in the world hit on the head cheerleader. And it worked! It's a nice fantasy, George, but no. No. That's never gonna happen. No. Not with all the money in the world, George. But I don't know, maybe with enough, but anyway. But that's when this all started. That's when I noticed that the prequel thing got kicked off and was really brought into fashion by George Lucas, and that's when we started getting swamped. Because as Hollywood always does, they all went, George is making how many millions? What? Well, okay. I can make prequels too. Me. I can do it. I got one.
What was that?
Oh, it was nothing, sir.
Your behavior is most suspicious.
And that's when we just got flooded with a crap ton of prequel stories nobody wanted. Nobody asked for. Now, as I said, the prequel idea is not a bad idea. Unless you're going to ruin the story that came before it by explaining too much, by over-explaining, or by giving a crappy explanation, or going back and retconning or retroactively altering the history that was already set in motion in the original film, book, whatever. You can't go back and change the past that was alluded to in the original series. Otherwise, you just confuse everything. All of a sudden, stuff in the original thing that brought everybody to that particular series, book, film, trilogy, whatever, no longer makes sense. And it loses its cohesiveness as a story, and suddenly it's all just... ugh. And that's kind of what George did with the prequels. They're still Star Wars. They still look and feel like Star Wars because he did them. But he explained too much, and he explained it poorly. He came up with some bad ideas, and nobody stepped in and went, hey, George, let me just, come here for a second. No! No! We are not putting midichlorians in this. What the... Go take a timeout. That's all it needed. It just needed somebody who could come in and tell George, no. All right, get George's mom on the phone. He's doing it again. Mrs. Lucas, you gotta come in. He won't listen to anybody. Yeah, he needs a timeout. That's what they needed. George over in the corner going, I wanted the glory thing. Fine. But that's what leads us to these things, is there's no adults. There's nobody in Hollywood, or so few people in Hollywood with a brain who's like, well, this idea's good, and this one's bad, and this one's good, and this one's bad, and this one's good, and this one's... There needs to be some, I mean, how do you distinguish good ideas and good art from bad art and bad ideas? It's kind of a subjective thing. I love films that other people hate, and vice versa. Everybody has different tastes, but there are just some things that nobody wants to see. Let me give you a list that I came up with of prequels that I can think of off the top of my head. The Alien series, Star Trek, Star Wars, Harry Potter, Marvel, X-Men, The Hobbit, and Underworld. Okay? Those are just a few that I can think of off the top of my head. So let's go through a few of them. And maybe my point will become more clear. Or maybe not. Aliens. Perfect example. Aliens 1, good movie. Creepy, scary, good horror flick, suspense. Seriously needs to be taken in and have the original film cleaned up and preserved. Aliens, even better. The masterpiece of that group of films. Aliens 2 was perfect. One of my all-time favorite science fiction films. My favorite science fiction horror film of all time. Absolutely excellent. A+, doesn't get any better. Loved that movie. That's where it should have stopped. Did it? Oh no. No. We got Aliens 3. In which, by the way, there are going to be spoilers. If I say a movie and you haven't seen it and you want to see it, skip ahead a few minutes and check again. But I'm going to be discussing a lot of films, so most of them are older, so you should be safe. But there will be some spoilerish stuff, because I'm going to be talking about details of different films. I'll try and warn you if I think there's something you may not have seen or heard yet. Oh, also the Terminator series. Terminator series has also gone down this road with prequels. So, with Alien 3, it was just awful. The ending of Aliens is perfect. A lot of people die, but there's a few characters that survive, and you kind of expect Ripley to survive at the end, but you're not sure about the little girl. I never expected Hicks to, the original time I first saw it, I didn't think Hicks was going to be the one to survive. Could have been any of them. And so that was kind of a surprise that he ended up surviving. And then Bishop, who's a android, really can't die anyway, but, they try and preserve him and save him. But in the first 5 minutes of Aliens 3, they kill Newt. Bishop is never really done anything with much, and Hicks are killed. So Newt and Hicks, boom, right off the bat, dead. And I heard it was because Michael Biehn didn't like the script, thought they couldn't top the aliens, and didn't want to be a part of it. So he killed his character off. Which I'm grateful. I would rather have them kill him off than try and replace Michael Biehn with a lesser actor. Because Michael Biehn is just really good in whatever he's in. He brings that, even if he's not the main character, he brings that realism to a film. You see him and you're just like, this just suddenly feels like now it could really happen. I don't know why. But, so they kill him off. They end up landing, crash landing. The Nostromo is destroyed. Or the Sulaco, pardon me. Nostromo's from the first film. The Sulaco gets destroyed. They eject the pods and they land on a prison planet. And a dog gets infected by an alien. And it kills everybody. It's like they tried to rehash the first film in a really crappy way. Kind of like what J.J. Abrams did in The Force Awakens. Trying to rehash A New Hope. So, that movie sucks. It's terrible. Like, almost nothing worthwhile about that film. There's a couple of, like, creepy, good scenes, but I mean, overall, it's like, then we get to Alien Resurrection. Now, I've never seen the entire thing, but I've seen like 3/4 of it. 5 minutes is too much. 3/4 of it was torture. It was awful. Awful movie. It is so bad. So bad. I mean, it rivals Last Jedi for franchise killing, awful, please make it stop, don't, you could torture inmates in Gitmo by poking their eyes open and making them watch that movie. They would be going, no, stop, please! Waterboarding's got nothing on being forced to watch those movies. I don't tell you anything! Just don't make me watch it one more time! No, the credits are rolling! It's so bad. But then they go to Prometheus because somebody said, well, that was the shittiest movie we could have possibly made. And somebody in the back of the room goes, "Nuh-uh! I can tap it! See my script? You ruined the end of the series. I'm gonna go back and kill the series before it even started." Yeah! Prometheus. Now, full disclosure, I was excited for Prometheus. That was a prequel I was interested in. Because I thought, we're going to find out how that ship ends up on LB-426. Isn't it sad that I know the name of that planet right off the top of my head? I didn't even look it up. But I thought we were going to find out how that ship got there. We're going to find out how that race was killed by the aliens, or how that, I thought this is going to be cool. Out of all the prequels, I was just like, this could be something good. And then me and my cousin went to see it together. And the only thing good was walking out of the theater after it was over. That was the only good thing about it. Except for the fact that I had it in my brain. And, wow. Terrible acting. Terrible storyline. Terrible characters. There were some cool visuals, but even that couldn't even save it. The whole storyline, the whole premise, it's awful from beginning to end. Can't remember if it's Mahler, Critical Drinker, or Robot Head that has a review of that film. Perfect review of that film. There is nothing worthwhile in that movie at all. And my cousin liked it. I was like, you what? Were you in the same movie I was in? Okay. Just goes to show. Different strokes for different folks, and some people are crazy. So they killed the beginning of the series. I mean, so that's got to be where it ends, right? Oh, no! No. We're going to do another prequel after the prequel. Because they left the prequel on a cliffhanger that made absolutely no sense at all. Right? Right? So they made Alien Covenant. Now, I will fully admit, I never saw it. I will never see it. I have no interest. They have killed that franchise for me. I will never watch another Aliens movie ever, ever, ever. I will watch 1 and 2. That's it. They're done. They've killed it. Which brings me to Terminator. Same exact story. T1, good movie. T2, best in the series. Topped the first one. One of the best science fictions ever. Epically good story. Great acting. Great everything. Just all around great. One of the greatest villains of all time. Robert Patrick, I think, is the guy that played T1, the T-1000. Fantastic performance by him. His signature role, which is sad because you never really saw him get anything much big after that. But great film. And then Terminator 3. Is there something about that number 3? It's cursed? Because that's when Terminator died. No, I take that back. Because Terminator 3 came out, The Rise of Stupidity, and the guy that played John Connors was awful. I didn't like him. The girl in it was obnoxious. Arnold couldn't save it. Just bad. But then came Terminator Salvation, which wasn't perfect. It was a good movie. I mean, it was just a pretty good action movie. Now, there's a couple parts I was just like, no, okay, you could have skipped that. No, okay, you could have done without that. But I actually enjoyed that film. It wasn't bad. Pretty decent story, good acting. I liked it. And then comes Terminator Dark Fate. Now, spoilers. I have not seen it. I have just read the reviews, seen the clips, understand the story, done as much research as I can on it because I have no interest in seeing it. Ever, ever, ever. Because they did Terminator 4. Genesis. Terminator Genesis. Which was They just retroactively screwed that whole story up. Rewrote the entire history, changed everything. It was awful. Then now comes Terminator Dark Fate. It's out in theaters right now. I'd rather have my nipple bitten off by a beaver. I owe that one to Jeff Foxworthy. I mean, no. Spoilers, the first 5 minutes, John Connors is killed by a Terminator. This is right after the events of T2. They basically went and erased the other movies and went, we're going to go back and start with here because the other one's bad. So, T2 goes into this one. John Connors gets whacked in the first 5 minutes of the film. He's dead. And that's where my interest ended. Once I heard that, I'm just like, but it gets better. They replace him with little Hispanic girl, little Mexican chick. I hate the term Hispanic. It's not even a real word. They're not a race. They're a nationality. But I digress. It's awful. It's just, they retcon the story, change everything, make it all about girls. And in 2019, welcome to girl power world. I mean, we are going to look back on 2019 as the year we started swirling the drain. That's when it all went sideways. It was going bad up to that point, but wow, somebody hit the just gone. Identity politics, crazy things, people don't know what bathroom they're supposed to use, and Hollywood wouldn't know a good idea if it hit them in the head, moving at 800 miles an hour. They wouldn't even know they got hit. So, I mean, I could go on and on and on about all of these different prequel series. Some of them were okay. The prequel for Underworld was okay. The sequels, not okay. 1 and 2 were good, but there again, 3, bad. 4, never saw it. I kind of lost interest, which is sad because I love Kate Beckinsale. I mean, when I say I love Kate Beckinsale, oh, yeah. I mean, I would not leave my wife for Kate Beckinsale. Well, man, be a tough choice. Sorry, Kate probably just got shivers for no reason. She's like, oh, something just horrible happened somewhere. Sorry, Kate. X-Men, the prequels for that. The X-Men First Class stuff was... The only one I really liked was 1 and kind of 2, and then after that I was like, I watched them, but I was just like, why am I still watching these? Bryan Singer needs to be shot out of a cannon somewhere and never be allowed near an X-Men film again. Ever. Apocalypse was awful. And the First Class stuff was, there was, actually I take that back. There was one, and I just lost it. Days of Future Past. That was actually pretty good. I actually kind of enjoyed that one. And X-Men, or Wolverine Origin, the first one, I like that one. A lot of people don't. I do. I don't like what they did with Deadpool, but I like that film overall. That was a cool backstory for Wolverine. That was kind of cool. The Hobbit. Now, The Hobbit, the people who did the Hobbit movies, there's a special place reserved in hell for those people. Now, I say that because The Hobbit was the first book, full book I ever read as a kid. And I loved it almost immediately. I'd seen the cartoon when I was growing up, which that's what inspired me to read the book. The book was so good. So good. And I loved that book. I didn't read the Lord of the Rings trilogy until years later. But I loved The Hobbit. Absolutely loved it. And what they did with those movies, when the Jules and Bass cartoon from the 1970s is a better film than 3 mega-budget Hollywood films dedicated to the same subject matter, you have a problem. You are creatively retarded. How can the same guy that did the Lord of the Rings do the Hobbit movies? And do them so badly. He twisted that story up, ruined almost every single thing in that movie. Made the goblins look like, I don't know what, like a leper colony with this big gooey looking king thing with a big belly and no. Seriously, the cartoon from the 70s was 1,000 times better than those movies. The only thing they got right was Benedict Cumberbatch doing the voice of Smaug. Now, the dwarf characters weren't bad, but they weren't what I envisioned dwarf characters being. some of the acting, the guy that did Balin, I liked his acting. The dwarves were okay, and I liked the guy that played Bilbo. He did a good job. But it was just the story they got given. The white orc that's nowhere in the book, that the chases and all the action sequences that got thrown in there just because they think people don't have an attention span longer than a gnat. Good Lord, Hollywood. When the dwarf dude in the Battle of Five Armies rides in on the pig, I wanted to kill somebody. Who thought that was a good idea? Let's have him ride in on a big pig. She took one of the coolest battle scenes ever written and sorry, I may have a stroke talking about The Hobbit. Like I said, that one holds a special place in my heart, and what they did to it was just, I'm gonna have to do a review of that someday. I just don't know that there's enough blood pressure medication in the world that I won't die in the making of it. Hey, maybe I'll get some more views though. But I mean, that's the prequel stuff. So every once in a while they can do a decent one, and there's not something wrong with that idea. It's just they do it wrong almost every single time, because they don't go make sure. It's like, hey, here's a thought: before you start making the prequels or prequel or whatever, go watch the original movie or movies, take notes, write some shit down, and then follow the history. A perfect example of how not to do this is the new Dark Crystal TV show, on Netflix. But the show is good. It's visually great. They follow they use the same kind of characters. That it looks just like the original. I still think the original is 1,000 times better. But the new series, like, they rewrote the history so that what was done in the Dark Crystal does not jibe with what's happening in the prequel series, because that's what it is. It's a prequel series of what happened before the Dark Crystal. They changed things, they rewrote it, they altered characters, they've done all this different things, and like, I just want to punch him in the throat for it. You took Jim Henson's crowning achievement and messed it up. Now, overall, that's not a bad series, but they messed up the intro, which just started it off on a bad foot, and then they started rewriting the history so that it doesn't make sense with what's said in the Dark Crystal. The overall story arc is pretty good, right up till the gay gelflings. And that's where I was just like, seriously, you had to put gay gelflings in there. You just couldn't let us have something without transgendered this or gay people that or whatever. This is an alien planet, an alien world, alien civilizations, and you got gay people in there. Anyway, I have nothing against gay people, but they don't have to be in every single story. Wow, this went sideways fast, didn't it? I was actually trying to be happy. But see, that's what Hollywood does to you. It makes these great things that you fall in love with, and they become part of you and part of your childhood, and you love them, and they're great. And some douchebag ball of crap comes rolling along and goes, you like that? I can do it way better. No, you can't. No, you can't. Nope. No. Put it down. Walk away. Put it down. Walk away. You are not allowed to play with the Terminator franchise. No. You step away from Star Wars. J.J. Abrams, step away from Star Trek. Get it? No. Put it down. Put it down. Don't make me come over there, young man. There's no adults running these major film companies that step up and go, no. No. You either bring me a good, competent, coherent story that follows the source material or follows what's been done before, or get the hell out of my office and don't come back till you grow up. You're not allowed to play with other people's toys, especially if you plan on breaking them. Get out. Because there's a number of sequels that, sequels are okay, but they always seem to carry it too far. Hey, if we made money on this one, we're just going to keep going forever and ever and ever. How about stopping getting out while the getting's good? If you don't have a story that lives up to the other stories, just stop. Stop. Money is not always the most important thing. Your reputation. There should be things in Hollywood more important than making billions of dollars. Hey, I love money too. But maybe keep your integrity for a minute and a half. Don't sell out like a big whore. So, sequels are fine too. Just know when to stop. Know when to put it down and walk away. Because now we're getting 4 Avatar sequels. Now, I liked Avatar. I thought it was a great movie. I didn't even get to see it in its 3D glory like everybody else did. But I liked the movie. I think it's great. I think it's a great story. It's James Cameron, and corporations are bad, and Indian tribes are wonderful and never made a mistake in their lives. And he loves that story arc. He does it almost every time, in every movie. He made Aliens. And he does that story arc really well, but he uses it all the time. He just switches it up a little bit. But I don't know that you can run 4 more films off of that. Maybe they got some great ideas. Maybe James Cameron can pull this off again, but maybe no, because he was involved in the Terminator stuff too. And look where that ended up. Now, he was mainly just involved in name only, but seriously, he put his name on it. Why would you do that? Unless you were sure it was going to be good. And then we've got the remakes. And that's the other thing Hollywood is just killing the crap out of it. Disney is the worst offender of them all right now. They are destroying their films of the past. Now, some of their remakes in the past have been good. The remakes for Flubber and that kind of stuff with Robin Williams, yeah, it was good. But they have just totally, they didn't jump one shark, they just jumped shark after shark after shark after shark after shark lately. Beauty and the Beast was awful. Maleficent was, oh my gosh. I cannot say enough bad things, because out of all the Disney cartoons, Sleeping Beauty is my favorite. I know, I'm a girl, I don't know, whatever. Because this is one I remember seeing when I was a kid the most. And I remember how beautiful that film is and how amazing it looked. And I was just like, blown away by this when I was a kid, and I loved that. And I got a special place in my heart for it one year during Thanksgiving. I was watching, and it really stuck in. It's my favorite Disney cartoon of all time. I love a lot of the others, but that one is the pinnacle. Because it's got one of the best bad girls ever in all the Disney stuff. She is so bad, so creepy, so good as a villain, Maleficent. And they took that and just twisted it into a nightmare of a story. That everything they could change and screw up, they did. Every single thing. just disgusting. And now they've made another one. Because ruining it once, making Disney spin in his grave like a lathe wasn't enough. Nope, they really had to twist him into a knot by making a second one. Because Sleeping Beauty was very special to Walt Disney. It was his crowning achievement. It was one of the things he felt most strongly about. He even filmed it on specialized film. You go back and watch the documentaries on the making of Sleeping Beauty. It was the number 2 film of that year, only behind Ben-Hur, I believe. Amazing artwork and artistic drawings that details, and it is amazing artwork. Each frame is almost a masterpiece in itself of like Renaissance style art. And they took that cool story, that amazing story of Sleeping Beauty, and just twisted it inside out. And that's when I knew things had gone sideways at Disney. And ever since then, Aladdin, I have no desire to see Aladdin. You couldn't pay me to watch that movie because you replaced Robin Williams with Will Smith. I could see you replacing him with Kevin Hart or Eddie Murphy or any other comedian, Bill Burr, any other comedian. But you replaced him with a former rap star actor. And then you made it all about Jasmine. I mean, I could go on in the Disney remakes forever, and there's more coming. So hold on to your lunch because you're going to be puking your guts out a lot because Disney's ruining everything they ever did before. For a buck. Thanks, Bob Iger. You're a genius. Not to mention, ruining Star Wars in the bargain. Now they've bought the 20th Century Fox. They're screwing stuff up with that. They're going to ruin the X-Men, I'm sure. Marvel's going woke. They're doing prequels now. They're doing a Black Widow movie after Black Widow's dead. Lord save us. Save us. Actually, no. Just bring on the fire and brimstone. We're done. We're done. The end times have come. There's no other explanation for how bad everything's getting and how crazy, and I just don't know if I can take it much more. But I'll endure to the end. Which should be next Tuesday. Anyway, I wanted to share my thoughts on prequels and sequels and remakes. And to get your thoughts, I wanted to start a conversation on what you feel about can you think of a good prequel? Can you think of a good sequel that I gave you some examples of good ones that outshine the originals today, and remakes. I know there's been good remakes out there, but I mean there's also been such a slew of bad remakes. Like they remade Total Recall, and they managed to flush a really cool science fiction movie down the toilet. I mean, and Kate Beckinsale's in that, which I just watch her run, really. She's just so hot. Anyway, see, there again, she just got chills wherever she's at. There's a disturbance in the force. I thought we got a legal injunction against Brian thinking about me. Sorry. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Sorry if it got a little ranty. But this stuff really gets to you after a while, to watch your favorite stuff get just destroyed and demolished. And I mean, you have to sit there and do all these mental gymnastics to keep yourself from hating something that you once loved, like Star Trek. What they've done to Star Trek is nothing short of a gang rape. I thought all the most worst things that can happen to a series have all happened to Star Wars in the last couple of years. Or Star Trek. I mean, oh, Gene, we're all sorry, Gene Roddenberry. We're sorry. Lord, we apologize, and be with Starving Piggies down there in New Guinea. Amen. So, have yourselves a great day, and we will talk to you next time. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and share, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the things I talked about today, and anything you want to comment on this particular subject. Talk to you next time. Bye now.